What is up, YouTube? How are we doing? Welcome back, everybody. If you are new to the channel, my name's Nick. This is Investing Against the Grain. On this channel, we talk Tesla, we talk investing, we talk the economy, and we talk about whatever's going on in my life and whatever comes to top of mind. So, welcome back, everybody. I've been gone for a little bit, but the wife's in Nashville for a bachelorette party. So it's just me and the boy down here. He's laying on the cold concrete, and I made a little drink. So go ahead, get yourself a drink. We're going to chat today. We're going to talk about why and when I think Tesla is going to get to a price target of $450. I think it's going to be much sooner than a lot of people think it is. I'll explain my rationale, my reasoning behind it. But again, let's enjoy it. It's Friday evening. Go get yourself a drink. Go get yourself a little snack. Sit down, dig in, and let's have a chat. So, first off, got a couple of things that I want to bring up. First things first. I did a couple of episodes with Herbert, Tesla Herbert. If you guys don't know who Herbert is, I don't think you are too deep into the Tesla sphere. But Herbert and we talked about a lot of interesting things. We talked about FSD. We talked about the new Apple iPhone buttons and configurability with Teslas. And we just had a overall good conversation. We did a couple of videos, so you should be able to see those. They've been out for a couple days now, but really good time with him. Also, for those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you'll notice I'm wearing a hat. Haven't worn a hat in a while. Why am I bringing this up? Just letting you all know I'm growing my hair back out. So, pretty excited about it. It's a commitment, takes a long time, and there's a lot of awkward, funny looks you get with your hair when you're growing it out, and so hence the hat. So, a couple of housekeeping items there before we get going. All right. I hope by now you guys have your own drinks and you guys are all set up because we're gonna talk a little bit Tesla. We're gonna talk about price target 450, and we're just gonna talk overall about why I'm pretty bullish right now on Tesla, and some things that are troubling the economy, but why history shows that these are the moments that tend to not be as bad as we think they are. So let's start off with talking about where we are today, because all I hear out there right now is a lot of negative sentiment. Not from everybody, right? You got a few people who are always going to be optimistic, which I love because you need those people around. But I would say the overwhelming sentiment has gotten a little, let's just say, negative. Now, luckily, we have people like Herbert, like Randy Kirk, Omar, Yashu, Farzad, Rob Maurer, Tesla Boomer Mama, right? All the cyber people, I go on and on. Luckily, we have all of them to keep us grounded and keep us, focusing on the bigger story. And I think the bigger story that we need to start off with is the fact that when you invest in a company, as we are with Tesla, and I'm assuming that you're all in Tesla like I have been. I've been all in Tesla since 2019. And when you're all in with a company, you're not investing in the stock, right? I know this sounds a bit rudimentary, but I think it warrants just explaining this before I get into, my little diatribe. But when you invest in a company, you're not investing in the stock. Now, the stock is the medium of which you invest in, and that's the portion of the company that you own, but you're not invested in a stock price. And I think that's always important to remember before any deeper conversations are had about a stock price. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel that overwhelmingly as of late, everybody's just fixated on the cost of a share of Tesla. Is it 250? Is it 300? Hell, even the thumbnail of this video, TSLA 450, right? It seems like that's all people talk about these days. And they seem to ignore what the real true investment is that you have made, that I have made. And so let's lay down some groundwork and let's understand what Tesla is, where Tesla is, and why we should, even today, be beyond happy with our investment, even if the stock goes lower, even if it goes higher. why should we fundamentally be excited about having ownership in this company? So, let's start off with what I believe to be a revolutionary, once in a lifetime transitional change that we are going through. And that's going from internal combustion engine vehicles, otherwise known as ICE, to electric vehicles. I'm not telling you anything new that you don't know, but I think people tend to forget that we are early on. All right. These are early days. In the United States, I think we are at like 6 or 7% adoption. If even that, it might actually be lower. We have a long way to go. And really, Tesla has a long way to go. But my point in bringing this up first is because you have to understand that besides Tesla, as far as I'm aware, there is no other EV manufacturer in the world that's profitable. Now, I know some people say the Chinese or BYD. I think a lot of that is speculation. I don't think we actually know for sure. We also don't know how much the government's backing them. We do know that for Tesla, without ZEF credits, without any government handouts, without any of the IRA, Tesla is a profitable car company. Not only are they a profitable car company, they're more profitable than everyone else, than Toyota, than Volkswagen, BMW, GM, Ford. And that's, I think, where we have to start off with the fact that we are invested in the company that is leading the way to this revolutionary, groundbreaking change, paradigm change in our society from ICE to EV. And on top of that, the company is the most profitable, the only profitable as far as I can, actually go and look and actually find out. And it's not even close. Everybody else is struggling to catch up and to keep up. Right. So that's first and foremost the company you're invested in. Okay. But we don't invest for today, right? We invest for tomorrow and for what's going to come and the bigger vision. And especially when you're investing in tech companies, right? If I just want to invest in a company for what's today, I'd invest in a company like TNT or AT&T, right? AT&T, great dividend, generally a pretty stable stock. It's nothing to write home about, but hey, people need their cell phone reception and service, and damn it if they don't pay a good dividend. So I would invest in AT&T. But the truth is, I'm not that type of investor. I like to look to the future. That's why I invested in Apple for so long. That's why I invested in Amazon for so long. And it's why I'm now invested in Tesla for the last almost 4 or 5 years. So what is this future of Tesla? Is it just this EV revolution? All right. That's obviously a rhetorical question, and you obviously know the answer to that. But I feel that so many people don't seem to remember this because, again, all they talk about is the stock price. So let's remember right now, yes, we got the EV part of the business, we've got the automobile part of the business. We also have this energy part of the business that is literally the biggest underdog in the entire game right now. Nobody realizes how fast it's growing. Nobody understands how profitable it will be. And nobody seems to care about how it is one of the most disruptive changes happening to our society. Our entire grid is getting disrupted. So that's a big deal. And guess what? You're investing in a company that is, I think, leading the way in that, and it's growing year over year, just incredibly fast. So that's a pretty big deal. What else? What else is going on in the future? Well, there is the insurance business, right? That's a pretty big deal. Now it's not going to be as big as far as printing money as the car is, or the energy business, but hey, it's still a pretty big deal, right? Okay. Well, what's so transformative about the insurance business? Well, if you think about it, because of how software defined the vehicles are, well, that means that people still have to have insurance, but Tesla can charge at lower premiums for their users because they can have actual telemetry data of how they're driving, of how they're using the car. Are they safe? Are they not safe? As a result, you get to give advantages to those safe drivers by offering them lower premiums while compensating accordingly the price for worse drivers. And this creates a true meritocracy for insurance when you're driving, rather than, everybody has to have a little bit of an extra high premium because, well, what about that uninsured driver? What about that crazy driver that's, going really dangerous, just always flooring it? Okay. Now, obviously, I haven't hit on the big ones. So let's go ahead and hit on the real big ones. Let's start off with FSD. Now, FSD, and I don't want to, bury the lead too much, but this is one of the reasons why I think we will be at 450 sooner than later. FSD, FSD beta. Now, is it done? Well, no, it's not done. But, but, I would say it could be if Tesla wanted it to be. What do I mean by that? I think right now, FSD beta could be done, could be operational and able to drop the beta moniker if they decided to geofence certain areas. I feel so strongly about this. The last 3 days, I have driven around. Let me tell you what I've done. Drove to a gym, drove back from the gym, drove to the grocery store, drove back from the grocery store, drove to the airport, came back from the airport. I drove to feed a friend's rabbit. They have little bunnies, right? She's up in Nashville with my wife. It's actually her bachelorette party. I've been going to her house back and forth, so I've been there like 4 times now. Gone to the gym every day. I went to Chipotle last night. I also went to the liquor store last night so that I could have my little beverage here. Um, Went to the gym again, and I've done all that over the last 3 days. Zero interventions, zero human input. The only time that I took over from FSD was to get into the gate for my house and when I wanted to pull into a parking lot because, well, I just, it's not made for that. And so I'm trying to use the software the way it's meant. And right now we don't have parking lots as part of it. It does work in there a lot of times, but I'm trying to respect the software for what it is. So other than those two things, right, which again, you won't see a Waymo or a Cruise doing either. I haven't had any input. I haven't done anything. The car has done everything for 3 days. Now, again, I always like to, caveat. I have a geography bias. I have a geography echo chamber. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. We have very good roads that are marked very well. But I would also say we have some of the dumbest drivers out there. I would petition you. I'd wager that we have dumber drivers, worse drivers here than you do. Yet, despite that, still 3 days. When I say nothing, what I'm saying is not no disengagements. No. Like that's default. What I'm saying is I haven't tapped on the accelerator. I haven't nudged it. I haven't had to give any feedback or anything. Now, I on 11.4.7.2. I have hardware at 4. How much of that factors into it? That's hardware 4. Well, I don't have any way to, from a quantitative or qualitative way of actually answering that because, well, I have a hardware 4 vehicle now. So my point though is that this could be out there right now if Tesla decided to take a Waymo and Cruise approach. However, that's not Tesla's way. Like I said, you're invested in a company who's looking to the future, who's trying to solve the real problem, not put a whole bunch of janky sensors on top of a car and try to, limp their way to autonomy because, well, they don't have the data, they don't have the engineers, the chops, or whatever you want to say it is. They don't have the means to do it without all of that excessive hardware. However, Tesla can do it with, essentially $10 cameras and $100 FSD computer. So $180 all in. That's pretty damn good. And so what would this mean, this disruptive nature? And again, I'm probably not saying anything you don't know already, but sometimes it's worth hearing again. Sometimes when the stock's going down, hearing these things and hearing someone else speak what I would think is reason. Now, I'm biased, understand that. I'm aware of that, but I think what I'm saying is very rational. And so, what I think is very rational is to think, okay, well, if we lived in a world with robo taxis and you took the human out of the equation, well, that would drop the cost of driving from point A to point B down immensely. Okay, well, what would that mean? Well, if you drop the price of something, you're going to grow the total addressable market, the TAM. Okay, well, if nobody else is doing this, that means that Tesla can solely take over everything that Uber and Lyft and Yellow Taxis and all these other companies are doing, essentially overnight. How could they do it overnight? Well, they got the fleet. And if people want to, all Tesla has to do is make an app. They already have an app, actually. All they have to do is add a functionality into their Tesla app. And that functionality can be an Uber like pick up and drop off type app. And then people could just put their cars in. And all of a sudden, Tesla has two new revenue sources. What do you mean two new revenue sources? Robotaxi, that's one revenue source, right? Well, sort of, kind of. Sure, you've got the revenue source from the people who are taking the rides, right? Obviously, Tesla takes a cut of if I put my vehicle into the Tesla network, and let's say Amy and her husband James, they decide they want to go out for a meal in the town, and they call up a Tesla robotaxi, and guess what? Happens to be mine. My Tesla Model Y Performance goes, picks them up, drops them off at dinner. They have a lovely night. Then they call another one, take it back home, safe. They maybe had to pay, 10, $15 round trip. Maybe I get $7 of that. Maybe Tesla keeps $8 of that. That's one revenue source. What's the other one? Well, I still need to have FSD on that vehicle. And so I bought FSD outright, but a lot of people will just have a subscription to it. So that $199 a month, that's where that comes in. So that's two sources of revenue for Tesla. And this market, this total addressable market is enormous. It is absolutely enormous. It will disrupt car ownership. It will disrupt short haul flights, right? Regional flights. Right now, sometimes I have to go to Fort Lauderdale or Miami. It's about a 4.5 hour drive. Well, if I go to the airport, I have to get there about an hour and a half early, so I can get through security and everything. Then it's about, call it a solid hour to get to the airport, or to get to, Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So that's 2.5 hours right there. Don't forget, I had to pack in a small amount of space because, I had to make sure, that everything could fit, my carry on, all that, probably have small toiletries because I don't like to check a bag. And then when I get there, well, then I have to order an Uber or to get a rental car or whatever to go wherever I want. And then when I come back, I have all that same thing. So meanwhile, I could have left at any point in time. I don't have to be stuck to an airline schedule. I could have left at any point in time. I could have just slept in the car comfortably, ate whatever I wanted, left when I wanted, gotten there when I wanted. When I want to come back home, same kind of thing, right? And I'm in my own comfort. I don't have to take my shoes off. I don't have to go through security. I don't have to anyone pat me down. I'm not confined to what I have. I don't have to worry about expensive flights, right? I don't have to deal with any of that. It's going to be very disruptive. So robo taxis and FSD, this is going to be very, very disruptive. And I think we're getting very, very close. All right. What else? What else is happening here with Tesla that is just revolutionary? Well, there's Optimus, the humanoid. I mean, cheers to that, to the humanoid. And I think this is going to come a lot faster than people think. I was actually listening to an episode of Cyber Bulls today, and I think a lot of them, really get it. I think they really do. Again, FSD robotaxis are a lot harder of a problem because of the safety nature of it. The safety nature of it makes it where it has to essentially be perfect. A humanoid doesn't have to be perfect at everything. In fact, it just has to be able to be competent at one or two tasks to make it worthwhile of having. So, for example, let's say that all I wanted to do was make it so that the humanoid could go, open a bag of fries, throw it into the fry basket, drop into the deep fryer, take it out of the deep fryer, empty it, go grab the next one. Or what if I just wanted to flip burgers? Or what if I want the robot or the humanoid to just be able to sort out certain things out of a bucket? What if I wanted it to just be able to do something like change a tire on a car? What if I wanted it to, I mean, just anything, right? Just any little mundane thing. What if I wanted it to be a male person walking around, right? It could easily go and do mail, which security guard. I think Warren Redlick talks about this a lot. It could just be walking around the perimeter, and you could just have two guards who are just sitting there, and they only get notified whenever one of the humanoids see something that's dangerous or not right, or something's getting out of hand, and they get alerted and they come down and they take care of it. Right? You can go on and on. I mean, this is just me thinking, and I'm not smart, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that self-deprecating. But my point is, with the humanoid, it doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. It just has to be able to do a couple tasks, and all of a sudden it's useful. And so I think that's going to come a lot faster than people think. Whereas with the car, there's no room for error, really, right? I mean, if I screw up on flipping a burger, it's not a big deal. If I screw up in a robotaxi, somebody can die. So that's a pretty big deal. But again, the idea of Optimus is transformative, and it would be a reoccurring subscription as well. I mean, just the numbers just start to boggle the mind. Okay, so let's recap. We just laid down the groundwork for your investment in Tesla. Yet, if I'm talking to the right people out there, you probably have kind of a crappy feeling somewhere like right about in here. Probably have a crappy feeling. And that crappy feeling is probably because you just saw the stock today go down. I don't even know what it went down, like 6% maybe. Let me see. Tesla stock. Oh no, 3%. All right. So it went down 3%, back down to 251. We were in the 260s. Oh no. Oh no, the sky's falling. But here's the thing. Nothing's actually changed with the company. All right. We had a delivery miss, right? Not really sure how you have a delivery miss when the CEO tells you up front, hey, we are going to have less vehicle production because we're doing global worldwide shutdowns for upgrades. Nobody seems to pay attention to that. Well, other than us, right? But of course, it's a delivery miss because, well, clickbait. Of course, Tesla, Elon, clickbait. It's what these news channels live off of because, well, cable news is dying, and what else are they going to do? So Tesla has a miss, and so now, all the estimates are wrong, and there's the other thing too. Oh God, no, bigger issue. Oh no, Tesla keeps cutting prices of the Model 3 and Model Y, and they did a Model S and X. Oh, this is not good, guys. This is not good. Why do I think it's going to get to 450 sooner than later? Why? If they keep cutting prices, don't you understand what that means? That means they're going to have less margin, and that's going to hit the stock price. And Wall Street's not going to like it. And if they have less margins, that means they're just like another auto company. That's what it means. And by the way, did you see that they're now down to like 58% EV share in North America? That means that they have a demand issue. They're cutting prices. They're not selling them. They're losing market share. It's all over. And then we have earnings coming up next week. Oh my goodness. Oh, whatever are we gonna do with this, guys? Wait, let me just go sell everything right now. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, all that's true. All that's true. Yeah, Tesla missed deliveries. They told us that we are going to have less production because they have shutdowns. You knew that. I knew that. That should not be why you're upset. Okay, Tesla is cutting prices on their vehicles. Why? Well, they have a market clearing price and they're trying to get vehicles out there. Does that mean they have a demand issue? No, no. In case nobody has noticed as of late, we are in a recession. We have been in a recession. Call it whatever you want. We had 2 negative quarters. Since then, it's been crap. Kathy Woods calls it a rolling recession. Jerome Powell calls it sticky inflation. Call it whatever you want. We have been in a crappy economic environment for the last 2 years. It is what it is. This is the world. Everything's cyclical. This happens. All right. And so, what happens when you have high interest rates? Guess what people don't do? They don't take out a lot of loans. You know why? Because they lose pricing power. They lose purchasing power. Right. This is why the housing market right now is pretty crap. Right. It's why it's in a recession. When the interest rates are so high, the only way, let's take a step back. Think about this. When someone wants to buy a car, what they're thinking about is what's my monthly expense going to be? Now, that monthly expense that they can afford has not changed. However, when you throw in higher and higher interest rates, well, that makes that car price higher and higher on a monthly basis. So, if Tesla wants to sell vehicles, the only other option is for them to cut price so that they can still fit in the consumer's monthly budget price. It's how this works. All right. Now, you can sit there and say, oh, Tesla's demand problem. And so that's why they're cutting prices. Guys, look at all these OEMs and look at how packed the dealerships are. They are packed. All right. They have so many days of inventory, it's not even funny. On top of that, they have this whole, UAW issue going on right now. So that's not great either. So, yes, Tesla's cutting prices. They want to move their vehicles. They don't care. Elon told us this. He told us this in 2022. The summer of 2022, he said this. And if you didn't listen, and if now you're complaining about it, then that's on you, not on him, not on Tesla. But Elon said that he doesn't care if they have to take margins down to 0%. They will continue to make vehicles and continue to ramp up. Why? Because he has a long-term vision, which you need to have. All right. That's what this channel is all about: long-term investing, thinking about the big picture. And so, if you praised Elon and the Tesla team for not canceling all their chip orders when COVID happened, and as a result, guess what? They were able to do a lot of great things, and they didn't have the same issues that we saw Ford and GM. Plus, they have great engineers and can rewrite firmware and all that stuff, right? That adds into it as well. But the point is, they didn't let a pandemic change their long-term perspective, and so they didn't go ahead and cancel orders like everyone else did. They kept their orders, and they got fulfilled. So, in the same viewpoint, Elon is saying, I don't care about these short-term margin hits. They're irrelevant. We have a 20 million goal we're trying to get to. We have FSD we're trying to get to. I don't care about the margins. I don't care about the short-term price movement. I don't care about the stock, to be frank. What I care about is getting FSD and getting the 20 million and pushing the world towards electric vehicles, expediting our world to a sustainable energy planet. All right. Now, selling less vehicles, slowing down the plants because you're greedy and you just want to have high margins, well, that doesn't work. Okay. It just doesn't work. We need cars out there because we need data for FSD. We need to keep the cars going out there because the more that are out there, the faster we will get to an EV world. And the more pressure this puts on the other OEMs to go ahead and get into the transition. We need the cars to keep getting built and put out there because we have a 20 million vehicle target by the end of the decade. And I'm pretty sure we're going to hit it. So, regardless of what you think about the margins, regardless of what you think is going to happen come earnings next week. And by the way, tune in. We're going to have, our normal mega live stream. We'll have everybody on it like you're used to, Farzad, Emmett, Matt. I think Yashi's going to drop in, Tesla Boomer Mama, right? The whole gang's going to be on there. But don't worry about this is what I would say. Or at least that's what I'm doing. I'm focused on the big picture, the long term. And I'm happy that's what Tesla and Elon are focused on. All right. Now, you can also go into the whole ad campaign, all that. Listen, again, they will do what they think needs to be done. And if you're truly invested in the company, that should be enough for you. I really don't think that I really don't think that we can just the amount of noise out there about advertising, or about buybacks, about they need to do a certain release of the prototype of the car, or they need to do X, Y. Like, why don't we have faith in the people that we are invested in? Why don't we have a little faith that they have more data than us? They have more insight. Maybe they are testing certain things, right? All this noise about advertising. Well, we've seen that they're doing some advertising. We saw in Japan at the airport, Yashu's uncovered a few ads on Google. Like, they're toying around with it, right? They know what they're doing. Let them be. Let them do it in their own way. Just because it's not your speed doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. You gotta trust in them. All right. Let let the company do it their way, because last I checked, when they do things their way, it pans out pretty good for the rest of us. So, why do I think we're going to get to 450 soon? Well, I know you're probably like, oh, 31 minutes in and you're just now getting to this. Well, listen, yeah, sorry. I'm not going to sit here and just give you a little clickbait, 3 minute, a little dopamine hit about why you should, be invested all in Tesla's going to be at 450 tomorrow. Yeah, not my game. I think that we're going to get to 450 sooner than later because of everything I just said. Because the company is sound, because the company is iterating faster than everybody. Look at what we heard recently. They just hit yet another milestone with the 4680 battery. We know the Cybertruck is going to come out probably in the next few weeks. We know this. Farzad just did a brilliant breakdown of how semis beating ice trucks. Right? FSD, I just got done telling you, last 3 days, not one intervention, not one human input. Right? FSD 12 is coming. Guys, more bullish than any of that is that eventually we will have deflation. Eventually, the Fed will stop rate hikes. I think they already have. I think this is it. Knock on wood. Say my Hail Marys, whatever else I got to do. Eventually, this will pass. We've been in this cycle for 2 years now. Maybe we got another year, maybe we got another 2 years, but eventually it'll go by. And by then, everything that we have been dealing with, right? Don't forget, since we last had all-time highs, we've had 2 new factories open. Those factories have and are ramping up. We've got a refreshed Model 3. Cybertruck's coming out. FSD's progressed immensely. We got version 12 coming out. We've got more stuff on the humanoid, right? All this stuff has been happening, yet none of it we have seen actually in the stock. Oh, and don't forget, competition is essentially dead and dying fast. Lucid, they're doing crap. Rivian, they're interesting. I like Rivian, so I'm not going to talk bad about them, but they need to get their cogs under control. Everyone else, though, Ford, GM, Volkswagen, Stellantis, they're in trouble. They're in big, big trouble. And the Chinese automakers, to be honest, yeah, they've got volume out there, but I'm not sure how well they're doing. The Neo seems lost, right? Swappable batteries, cell phone, crazy amount of marketing. BYD, yeah, they got the volume, but we also see these huge lots of what people are saying are graveyard BYD vehicles, and I don't know what to make of it. Right. So I don't know. What I do know is where Tesla is, and the state of the company is so much stronger. Like it's not even close how much stronger it is than the last time we had all-time highs. So when do I think we'll be at 450? Well, I've had this pinned on my my Twitter for quite some time now. Um, and actually, I don't remember off the top of my head. So let me just look at my profile real quick. So I have it pinned. I said this on October, looks like 2nd, October 2nd. I said Tesla will be over $300 by year end. I'm sticking by that. And all-time highs in the next 12 months. So I think a year from now, we will be at all-time highs again, which I think will be around 450. Why do I think that? Well, besides that, everything I just told you, I also think that the economy is slowing, which is a good thing. And I actually prescribe to the Kathy Woods theory that we've been in a rolling recession. We've seen it in tech heavy. We're starting to see it in other industries. And I think we're just going to roll through sector by sector. We saw what happened to regional banks. We're going to see it hit auto if it's not already. We're just going to continue to see it over and over. Costco saying that they're seeing deflation. That's a big deal. Consumers are essentially tapped out. Credit card spending is going down. Housing's in a recession, right? Nobody's buying any houses. It's insane right now. But this rolling recession could actually prove to be a good thing because it could keep us from having a hard landing and allow us to get to a soft landing. I also think the Fed's done. I think the Fed's done raising rates. I think they're in the wait and see now. Let's give time for these rates to move through the economy. We also have two wars going on right now. As awful as that is, that's not exactly something that stimulates the world. But we could potentially see the end to the Russia-Ukraine war. It does seem like there are more people now trying to get to a ceasefire, peace treaty type conversations. This whole Gaza Strip conflict, I'm of the mindset that it will be resolved sooner than later. So if all those things happen and the Fed's done, I think we're going to have a pretty decent second half of 2024. I think the first half will be challenging, but at the same time, everybody thought this first half of 2023 would be challenging. And guess what? It was monstrous year. So there you have it. Listen, I'm saving this to the end. I don't do a lot of this stuff as far as asking to subscribe and stuff, but listen, if you made it to the end, do me a favor, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I know I've been making a lot of content, so it's my own fault for not getting there. But hey, if you made it to the end, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please share this with other people. And then also, again, a little housekeeping. Tune in next week. We're gonna have our live stream for Tesla earnings, and go check out those videos that I did with Herbert. They're a lot of fun. So, all right, thank you guys for watching. Thanks if you stuck to the end. I love you all. Peace.